There's a bureaucratic hive mind, and this bureaucratic hive mind is self protecting, it is inbred, and it continues to rot its own mind through performative politics. That is, politics not meant to accomplish anything other than the performance, the stage performance, the showing that we're with the new thing, the right thing, and have the right points of view. The tragedy in New Orleans was preventable in multiple ways. I mean, the easiest was this. Maybe don't take down world-class barriers and work on them the week of some of the biggest usage of that particular Bourbon Street area, New Year's Eve, a massive crowd coming. We can only thank God that that was apparently Plan B. It was apparently Plan B. My friend Mike O'Rourke, retired Special Forces, pointed this out to me after we had him on the program this week. He sent me a text saying, you know what? That was Plan B. He thinks so because, of course, that attack happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. Most people had gone home. What was Plan A, I wonder? I wonder if it was the improvised explosive devices that the guy has set all around that area that apparently didn't go off. Well, not apparently didn't go off. They didn't go off. I wonder if that's why he decided to get into his truck and go down and ram people. Plan B. Those barriers would have stopped all that. He couldn't have made them through them. But they were being fixed. There was a second set of barriers, world-class in and of themselves, that could have been brought in. The so-called chief of police, or she's called the superintendent, she didn't know they were on hand. She actually said that she didn't know they were on hand. She actually said she doesn't think they did anything wrong. This was a woman who was fired as the police chief of Oakland after she helped turn Oakland into the hellhole it's become. She won a settlement, but governments settle with their employees all the time. She's gone there to help ruin law enforcement in New Orleans. It's Hive-Mind, Hive-Mind bureaucracy. And sometimes it manifests itself in incompetence like this, incompetence and arrogance, those two things combined being the worst possible combination in any leader. Sometimes it's flat malfeasance, as I'll show you a case out of the separate country of Seattle, which even for me, well, no, it's not shocking. It's sickening because it's about a judge that I helped take on in that separate country of Washington State, a judge appointed by the dictator of Washington State, Jay Inslee, and it involves a 17-year-old who was let out of jail by another corrupt judge. He then went on to take the life of a 14-year-old boy in a particularly gruesome way. There's no wisdom in this. There's wisdom in God's word. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I love that it's said that way. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's then when you change your behavior in accordance with fear of the Lord that you're actually using wisdom. Now, I use a product called Wisdom, and it's a set of biblical herbs, and this is it. I don't know what camera I'm on, Alex. Someone will show me. Oh, that one. Oh, we switched cameras. I love it. You know what? You're a producer. From time to time, switch the camera the host uses. So here's Wisdom, and it's actually delicious, and it helps with mental clarity. It helps with alertness. It helps with relaxation. So how could it do all these things? Well, quick story first. The guy who created this is named Dr. Patrick Gentempo. He's a host of a podcast about Jesus, Christ Revealed, obviously a Christian man. And he was in the Holy Land, and he was reading the word and smelling the great smells of all these herbs and spices. And it occurred to him that the Bible is filled with mentions of these spices and herbs as healing methods. Turmeric, anise, cinnamon, hyssop, frankincense, myrrh, tulsi is called holy basil, milk thistle. What he did was he took his knowledge of the Bible, his knowledge of the body, and then he applied world-class scientific rigor to the creation of this product. It is cold brewed. It is made in small batches. It's infused with light waves and sound waves. That locks in the freshness and the potency, and you will taste the potency. This is now part of my relaxation protocol at night. I take 3 or 4 drops of this. I take it straight. I love the taste of it. It helps me relax into sleep and have clarity, mental clarity. My daughter adds it to her coffee, so she gets the boost of coffee without the edge. You can try this now. Go to trywisdomnow.com/Todd. That's trywisdomnow.com/Todd. You'll get 33% off when you stock up on this. You get free shipping and a 180-day money-back guarantee. That's trywisdomnow.com/Todd. A Washington gang-affiliated teen has been charged with kidnapping, stabbing, and, can I even say the words? In a particularly gruesome way, destroying the body of a 14-year-old boy. He was released by a judge on $300,000 bail. Hayden Scott Lusembrick, 13 of Tualaip, was charged with first-degree assault, first-degree robbery, first-degree kidnapping. Judge John Scott of the Snohomish County Superior Court set bail for Hayden Scott Lusembrick at 17 at $300,000. And he got out. The good news about this, if there's any, given the taking of life, is that this is destroying the Democrat Party. There's a new poll out we'll talk about later this week that shows that social issues and crime, so-called social issues and crime, did far more to hurt the Democrat Party than they ever want to admit. So there's good news in that way if you're someone who'd like to see a return to constitutional values and law and order. But this is metastasized across the cities. He's finally saying this now, this coward named Ted Wheeler. Ted Wheeler was the mayor and police commissioner of Portland, Oregon, one of the most fallen cities on earth, owned by Antifa. Anytime they want to, they take over parts of downtown Portland, and they do it on a continual basis. He talked about some of the things Antifa did to him, even as he denied Antifa was an organized front. It was just an idea. Remember all that?
Took a toll on you personally, too, didn't it? Those protests, I mean, people came to your condo, camped out in your condo. You eventually had to move.
Yeah, I mean, people forgot I'm a person, and I sort of understand that. I'm the man, I'm the power, I'm the authority, and I don't think it was necessarily personal. But when you come to my house and you try to burn it down, or when you stand outside my daughter's room with a firearm, when you catcall her and tell her her father is a Nazi, when you chase her and her mother to school, when you slash my tires, those things start to get very personal. And another thing I do differently, Laurel, I used to say back in the day, well, it comes with the territory. You're an elected official, you signed up for it. I don't think that anymore. I believe it does not come with the territory. And I believe in this country, as well as this city, if we have differences of opinion politically, we need to come and express them through the institutions, the democracy we have set up. You can't just confront people on the street. And as we saw even a week and a half ago, you just shoot somebody in the back because you have a fundamental policy disagreement.
Fascinating to hear him talk about shooting people in the back. The political murder that occurred in Portland wasn't in the back, it was in the face. A member of the Proud Boys was walking through downtown Portland, and a member of Antifa, Black Lives Matter Incorporated, that whole roll-up of terrorists, hid in a parking garage. And if you watch the video, it was very, very clear there was a signaling mechanism put in place. This was a very advanced hit. And the guy walked out of the parking garage, faced up to the Proud Boy, face up. There was the case where a young man had stopped on the street to intervene in the beating of what he thought was a woman. He thought a woman was getting beaten up. It turned out to be a man pretending to be a woman. That young man, traveling with his girlfriend, stopped his truck and went to intervene. He was beaten into a coma by Antifa members. There was the 1 year straight where nearly every single night for a year, Antifa, Black Lives Matter Incorporated attempted to burn their way in, weld their way in, use advanced circular saws to get into a federal courthouse to murder federal cops. This all happened under Ted Wheeler's watch. There was Antifa going into neighborhoods and seizing them, marching through neighborhoods saying, gentrifier, gentrifier, get the fire, threatening to burn other people's homes down. There was Antifa that showed up at school board meetings with baseball bats wrapped in barbed wire with threats to beat women up for suggesting that it's not important to have men pretending to be women twerking in front of their little girls inside of the libraries. Ted Wheeler was silent for all of that. The bureaucratic Hive-Mind rotted the city of Portland, and now Ted Wheeler is anxious to come and talk about it. Now, these are all very big issues. We're talking about the taking of life, the burning down of buildings, political murders on the streets. But the bureaucratic hive mind and the rot of it goes all the way down into villages and village councils. This is from Babylon, New York, and it's Mayor Mary Adams. She does not like being questioned.
We are not commenting or answering any questions. So unless your statement is done, what time do we have? Oh, still has a few minutes. Unless your time is finished, okay, I'm going to open it up to somebody else at this point. We've heard your statement.
You have a few minutes, so keep talking.
So okay. I would like to tell you,
Gee, thanks.
a few years ago, ma'am.
Your time is almost up. I'm not answering any questions.
Sir.
No, we're not answering any questions.
Sir.
Your time is up, Mr. Swift. Is there anyone else that from
Sir,
the audience that would like?
Pay errors and omissions insurance.
We're
This will
not.
cost-
What don't you? You know what?
Okay.
If it keeps going, I'll have cobra enforcement remove you out of here.
Please
Could you
don't talk.
please ask this man to either sit down or please get him out? Thank you.
Have Steve Feldman.
Can't touch you and they can't remove you.
Okay.
Sir, could you please sit down for a minute? You're in my house now. Could you please sit down?
You're in my house now. An elected official. The rotting of the bureaucratic hive mind is very, very predictable. Why do you think God, in the Bible, when he designed the governing process for the Hebrew people, why do you think that he had Moses no longer be the only governing official? Do you remember this? There was the Levitical priest. They would take care of the priesthood. There were prophets taking care of prophecy. He split the roles up. There were people assigned to a judiciary role or a legislative role. The Pharisees and the Sadducees. It was all split up because in his wisdom, God knows what unfettered human power is going to do, what it's always done from the days of the old Babylon to the days of now. So some of this is very predictable. Doesn't make it more fun to go through, but we can remember this, that we can choose to have the only king whose only possible realm of behavior is justice. This is why we should keep our eyes on building the kingdom of heaven on earth, knowing that the hive mind is going to continue to metastasize. And we don't have to fear it. We simply have to be aware of it and be gentle as a dove and wise as serpents in operating around it and trying not to let them get their grip on us. That's hard, but it can be done.